The number one predictor of success in relationships is emotional maturity. So, being able to tell whether or not someone else is emotionally mature will save you a lot of headache and heartache. That means no more wasting your time investing in the wrong people. Here are the 8 signs of emotional maturity that you need to look out for in yourself and in other people. Hello, everyone. My name is Tia, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I make videos that offer tips on how to improve your relationship with yourself and with other people. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss more tips from a therapist. Today, I'm giving you the 8 building blocks of emotional maturity so you can tell who is and who isn't worth your time. The first is humility. Humility is basically being free of pride or arrogance. It's acknowledging the possibility that we don't have it right all the time. This is an incredibly useful tool in relationships because humility makes it safe for people to be honest with us. Without pride or arrogance, emotionally mature people are able to hear feedback with curiosity rather than taking it as a criticism. Humility allows us to categorize people with different perspectives than us as potential allies with important perspective that we should listen to and hear, rather than an opponent or an enemy that's just trying to harm you or attack you.
Okay, we don't need any soap. Did you just put soap on him?
Yeah.
You did. You
Of
put
course.
soap on him?
Humility makes us able to receive feedback from others without being defensive. This type of communication has more of a collaborative spirit. When somebody doesn't have humility, communication is often misinterpreted as conflict, and any type of disagreement regresses into a battle of who's right and who's wrong. Number 2 is self awareness. Now, self awareness is twofold it's self awareness of our internal world and self awareness of our humanity. Self awareness of our internal world allows us to understand what we're feeling and why. So, emotionally mature people are capable of reflecting on their thoughts and feelings in a way that helps them better understand themselves. Now, this type of self awareness allows them to identify what their needs are and what their priorities are and align their behavior with it. In relation to self awareness of our humanity, sometimes people interpret self awareness as knowing all the ways in which they suck. But emotionally mature people are able to be honest with themselves in a more balanced way. They're not overly critical or only seeing what they're bad at. They can accurately account for their strengths and good qualities too. But when someone lacks self awareness, it feels very chaotic.
I'm coming off as stupid. You're wearing tuxedos to a job that requires you to clean bathrooms.
They don't understand their emotions, so they're dominated by them. They don't know what they need, so it's easy to blame other people and other things as why they're unhappy. Emotionally immature people can't see themselves or other people clearly, so their relationships can feel disconnected and fickle. Number 3 is empathy. Now, before we talked about self awareness, empathy is more social awareness. It's putting ourselves in other people's place to understand why they feel the way that they do. Empathy allows us to attune, validate, and respond constructively to others. Emotionally mature people care about the impact of what they say and what they do. Without empathy, emotionally immature people can very easily abandon or lash out. They don't really think or care about other people. They only care about what they feel and what they need, and everyone else in their life is just a means to that end. Number 4 is self regulation. Now, self regulation is just the capacity to manage distress in the moment and then process it afterwards. Emotionally mature people can experience emotions without them taking over. They're able to take their emotions seriously, but not too seriously, meaning that they feel their emotions just enough to understand where they're coming from and what they need. So they don't overindulge in their emotions. Without self regulation, emotionally immature people will be reckless with their emotions And whether it's externally on other people or internally spiraling within themselves. Emotionally immature people do not take personal responsibility for effectively managing their emotions. They'll either rely on substances to change their mood, escape into addictive or avoidant behaviors, or try to manipulate other people in order to change how they feel on the inside. Number 5 is accountability. Accountability is the follow through of awareness and empathy. When we're accountable for ourselves, we advocate for our needs, we communicate and express our emotions in a healthy way, and we acknowledge our responsibility towards other people. Accountability with others means that we're bothered by our personal shortcomings and accept our duty to addressing them. It's acknowledging and taking ownership of the harm that we may cause, admitting fault, and pivoting in a positive direction. Accountability requires us to have a team effort in our relationships rather than feeling entitled for everyone else to adapt around us. Without accountability, immature people will act out their emotions, while emotionally mature people will articulate them. Now, when someone lacks accountability, somehow they will always be the victim, and you or someone else will always be the villain.
Good sir, you seem to be peeing upon my leg.
Huh. Well, it seems to me that your leg's in the way of my peace tree.
Number 6 is reliability. Reliability is the pattern of correcting personal wrongness. It's the practice of consistently taking accountability. Reliability is when someone's actions are evidence that something has changed for them internally. When someone is reliable, they're predictable. And when someone is predictable in a positive way, it makes them trustworthy. An emotionally mature person is a trustworthy person because they're consistent in how they manage themselves and their responsibilities with other people. Without reliability, emotionally immature people cannot be trusted or expected to change.
One eternity later.
You can't hold out hope of them having some internal or behavioral epiphany because their pattern communicates otherwise. People have to choose to be accountable, and you need to notice when they have a tendency of not making that choice. Number 7 is flexibility. Being too rigid is a big problem. Things won't always turn out the way that we expect them to. Being flexible and being able to adapt is a necessary part of life. Emotionally mature people are able to compromise, come up with creative solutions to problems, and refine their approach in order to gain a desirable outcome. Emotionally immature people have mental and emotional rigidity. They struggle to process and move on from negative emotion. When someone isn't flexible, you'll notice that it's hard for them to change or deal with disappointment. They struggle to accept what is, let it go, and move on. And because they're inflexible, the burden of bending is put on everyone else. Number 8 is humor. Emotionally mature people have a good sense of humor because they have perspective. Life doesn't have to be perfect or taken too seriously because maturity breeds security. Communication isn't just about solving problems and who's right and who's wrong. There's room for nuance and play. Emotional maturity makes humor and play safe. Emotionally immature people aren't safe to play with because they're too sensitive. So, how do we develop emotional maturity? Each of those 8 characteristics are necessary building blocks for emotional maturity, each one kind of building on the next. So, if you notice yourself or someone else lacking in any one of those 8, all of the others that follow are automatically compromised. Becoming emotionally mature is a process that takes time. So be patient with yourself as you work your way through the list. However, if you are using this list to assess someone else's emotional maturity, you need to know that people only change when they feel like they really need to and really want to. If they don't think that they need to develop in any way, or they aren't actively trying, you should not be patient or hold out hope for them. You should be setting boundaries with them instead. Check out my series on boundaries for more help on that. Did you find this video helpful? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.